Hey guys, in this video I'll be comparing 2005 Ronnie Coleman and 2015 Phil Heath. I believe that both of these versions are the last top tier versions of their career, with Phil's stomach getting way worse after 2015, and of course Ronnie's overall deterioration after 2005. Now, before the video does start, if you guys enjoy my content, please consider liking and subscribing, as it helps grow the channel, and also thank you guys for 7,000. It really means a lot to me. Now, with that all being said, let's get into this video. Starting off this comparison, we have the front double bicep shot, in which both present very different packages. Starting with Ronnie, he presents great huge biceps and triceps, monstrous quads, great lat flare, and overall size. His conditioning is spot on as well, showcasing excellent separation in the quads and arms. He does lack in the forearm and calf size, which Phil does excel in. Phil has some great arms too, albeit with less peaky biceps, and has a lot drier of conditioning. His narrower structure isn't too noticeable either, and his midsection is a lot more streamlined than Ronnie's. Phil's quads do look great too, however, Ronnie's separation, it looks much cleaner. Now, between the two of them, I'd say that Phil has a more streamlined and aesthetic shape, while Ronnie has freakier body parts. Personally, I've got to give this one to Ronnie, just barely. Those arms and quads look great, and his huge structure really compensates for his wider waist. In the front lat spread, both Ronnie and Phil present rather unimpressive packages. This pose used to be a lights out pose for Ronnie, however his lats don't look nearly as good as they used to, which takes away from the rest of his rather imposing physique. Phil has really good lats here, better than Ronnie even, however his narrow clavicle width holds him back tremendously. Both have great strided chests and delts, separated large quads, and great arms, as well as rather unaesthetic midsections. Although neither are perfect, I have to give this one to Ronnie because he has less flaws. Sure, his lats aren't all there and his midsection is pretty wide, but at least he isn't really that narrow. That, along with the messed up midsection, is really what prevents Phil from winning this pose. Here's the side chest, and in it both look incredible. Ronnie's got that old man muscle look to his physique, as he has some crazy muscle maturity and thickness in his chest, arms, and delts. Phil hits hard too though, showcasing some insanely round delts, bubbly separated arms, and an equally full chest. Moreover, Phil has more detail in the midsection, along with a better hamstring and some solid glute feathering. Ronnie doesn't showcase his side leg as well, however the separation and detail is impressive nonetheless. That being said, I'm going to give this one to Phil, I think. His 3D muscle bellies in the chest, delts, and arms are insane and really pop compared to Ronnie. I'm certain that an 03 or even a 99 Ronnie would win in this pose, however, in this comparison, Phil wins in my opinion. Alright, here's the first back pose, the rear double, and here both men really shine. Both have incredible backs, arms, and legs, but also have some noticeable differences. Firstly, Ronnie has ridiculous hamstrings. They're large, ripped, and separated, and the same can be said about his glutes. Phil has equally as impressive conditioning in the legs though, however the size is clearly dominated by Ronnie, although Phil does win in the calves. Upper body wise, Phil has much better symmetry in the back, as Ronnie's back symmetry was never quite there, maybe earlier on in his career, but not here of course. Now Ronnie does appear to have a slight advantage in the back width, however Phil is just as dense and conditioned. Speaking of condition, Phil easily wins in the arm condition, as the separation between the bicep, the tricep, and the brachialis is so clear, whereas Ronnie would win in the arm size of course. Personally, I'd have to give this pose to Ronnie, as he dominates in the size department. His legs and arms are so freaky, and his back is still world class. That being said, his back is not as good as 2003 or even 2004. Phil could win by virtue of symmetry here, however he does lack the size and freakiness to keep up in my opinion, so for that reason, I'm going to give Ronnie the win. Here's the rear lat spread, and just by a first glance, you can tell, who's winning this pose in my opinion. If it isn't too clear, I have Phil taking this one. This is because Ronnie looks to be a shell of his former self. In the back, that is, of course. Now, he isn't as wide as before, and his lower back area looks shallow in comparison to Phil, who has incredible uniform density everywhere. Like the last pose, Ronnie still handily wins the lower half. However, Phil's grainy condition and superior back are definitely enough to push him over the edge. It's not like Phil has bad legs either, it's that Ronnie's are just so dominant. But yeah, I would give this one to Phil. The side tricep has never really been an excellent pose for Ronnie. However, in 2005, he seemed to nail it. He is minimizing his waistline and showcasing a rather impressive side leg and a really good side arm. Now, his tricep, while dominated and dwarfed by Phil's, is strided and presents some insane muscle maturity overall. In contrast to Ronnie, Phil has always executed a phenomenal side tricep, and here you can see that his strided tricep is miles ahead of Ronnie's. Phil also presents an impressive chest and delt, as well as amazing detail in the side leg. Funnily enough, between the two, Ronnie wins in the midsection, as there's zero sign of distension anywhere, while Phil has a little bit of protrusion. Although the midsection plays a big role in this pose, Phil's dominance in the arm, along with his great overall package, is really enough to win this pose. The ab and thigh has never really been a great shot for either guy, and here's no exception. Both have some glaring flaws as well as some rather impressive attributes. For Ronnie, he has a super wide waist here, along with unesthetic abs. Sure, his large structure and flaring lats compensate for it just a little bit, however, his entire upper body looks a bit unpleasing to my eye. For Phil, he has an equally unesthetic midsection. Wow, it just really doesn't look that good here, and his abs look pretty messed up. Both do have amazing round quads, however, Ronnie, like in the other front shots, presents cleaner lines and more separation in those quads. Phil does have some tremendous calves though. I mean, wow, take a look at those calves, guys. However, is that enough to win the pose? I don't think so. So Ronnie definitely will take this one, as his midsection, while it is a bit wide, is not as bad as Phil's bulbous midsection. Here's the last pose, the most muscular, and this really is a strong way to end the comparison. Both have incredible arms, delts, and chests, and great separation and fullness, and huge quads. Ronnie doesn't appear to be as bubbly as Phil, however, he does have some thinner skin. Phil easily wins in the delts and arms though, however, his narrowness does hinder his capabilities just a little bit. Ronnie is super wide and looks to be the epitome of a most muscular pose. However, I really do think this one could go either way. Personally, I'd have to give this one to Ronnie. However, Phil has just as much of an argument to be made, since both really don't have any flaws. Alright, so that about does it for this video. I had this one ending in a 5-3 with Ronnie winning. However, if you gave Phil the most muscular, it would be a 4-4 tie. The lat spread, the rear double, and the front double could be debatable as well, as they were somewhat close. However, I feel like I argued them pretty fairly. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, liking and subscribing would be much appreciated. Like I said earlier, thank you so much for 7,000. It really means, the world to me. I never thought I would be here. And, I'll see you all in the next one. Thanks for watching.